When was the last time you practiced acceptance? Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome back to Fearless Fridays. Today is Friday, April 30th. This is episode 86 of Fearless Fridays. As always, I welcome you to the show, whether it's your first time watching or you're a return watcher. Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining me. So today I wanted to talk to you from this question. When was the last time you practiced acceptance? And let me tell you where this topic came from. Let me tell you where it came from. So last week I did not do an episode of Fearless Fridays, and I shared a bit about that on my Instagram and also in my newsletter, my weekly newsletter for those of you who get it. And the reason that I did not do an episode was because I was feeling so heavy and so weighted down. And if you know me, you know that I like to be consistent with the things that I'm doing. I like to show up every time. I like to show up and be consistent. And I found last week that it was impossible for me to show up and be consistent and do an episode last week because of how I was feeling, due to the reality of the past year in this country. What's interesting is that a lot of people focus so much on COVID and coronavirus, but we forget that there has been a huge racial reckoning, or I guess the beginning of a huge racial reckoning happening in this country this past year due to the continued untimely and unjust and inhumane deaths of Black people at the hands of police officers, at the hands of our systemic racism in this country, or because of systemic racism in this country. And last week I was just feeling so heavy. The emotion of it, the reality of it was weighing on me so tremendously, and I decided to take that Friday off and practice some self-care for myself, and practice some mental self-care, some psychological self-care, some physical self-care, and just allowing myself the space to feel what I was feeling. And that's what brings me to this idea of acceptance. Because I was feeling so weighty, because I was feeling so emotional, I had to sit, or I didn't have to, but I chose to sit with everything that I was feeling, to sit with the weightiness, to sit with the heaviness, to sit with the emotions, whether the emotion was anger, fear, rage, frustration, sadness, depletion, despair. I felt all of those emotions. And over the course of the past year, at some point along the year, I have felt all of those emotions at different points. And so, this entire year, I have been allowing myself to sit with those feelings. But last week, I was also sitting with those feelings. And this brings me to acceptance. When was the last time you allowed yourself to sit with what you're feeling and accept it? And when I say accept it, I don't mean accept the circumstance or accept, I don't mean showing acceptance to racism or inhumane treatment or systemic, racism or oppression. I don't mean accepting that. I don't mean accepting something that's unacceptable. What I mean is accepting the emotion that you are feeling as a result of those things. What I mean is allowing yourself to sit and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling rage right now. I'm feeling anger right now. I'm feeling frustrated right now. I'm feeling sadness, immense, deep sadness right now. I'm feeling heaviness right now. When was the last time you allowed yourself to sit with that and recognize what you're feeling and allow it and accept it and not push it away, not power through, not find a distraction away from what you're feeling, but actually just saying, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. And I'm going to accept that this is what I'm feeling right now. And I'm going to allow these emotions to take their course, because if you know about emotion, you know that it passes. Emotions pass, they come and go, and they pass through. And you don't have to make a judgment call about yourself based on the emotions that you're feeling. It's not a judgment on you. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you are incapable of handling what you're feeling. It means that you're human. The fact that you feel emotion means that you are human. That is a gift. I personally believe that emotion is a gift that God has given us. It gives us information. It does not define us, but it does inform us. And so for me, I chose, because again, this is a choice. You can choose to push it away. You can choose to distract yourself. You can choose to not deal with it or try to not feel it, force yourself away from feeling it. But I chose to not do any of those things. I chose to say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. And what I am feeling is justified. What I am feeling is okay. What I am feeling is natural. It's okay for me to feel rage, anger, frustration, sadness, weighty. It's okay for me to feel those things because I'm a human being. And that's a gift that God gave me, emotion. And so I want to ask you, when was the last time you allowed yourself to just sit with what you're feeling and accept it? And not just accept the emotion, but listen and learn the lessons that you are being taught about yourself. Because I believe that if you sit with the emotion, if you accept what you're feeling, you will learn something about yourself. You will learn how things trigger you. You will learn what triggers you. You will learn what you value. You will learn more about even the work that you're meant to do in the earth. Because the things that trigger you, there's something to those triggers. There's something there that could be a clue to the kind of work that you're meant to do in the world, the kind of people that you're drawn to, the kind of issues, social issues that you can lend your hand or your voice to. If you allow yourself to sit with what you're feeling and accept it, practice acceptance of what you're feeling, and learn from those emotions, learn from what you're feeling, that's a radical game changer. It's a life changer. And that is what I did for myself last week. That's what I have been doing for myself for the past year, is allowing myself to sit with what I'm feeling and not try to push it away, not try to distract myself from it, but really sit with it and say, okay, what am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm feeling rage. Okay, why am I feeling rage? Because of this situation that happened. Okay, what about that situation causes me to feel rage? Sit with it, accept it, ask questions of it, and then learn something about yourself and use that lesson to propel you forward in life. That's what I wanted to share. That's what I wanted to share. Really allowing yourself to sit with what you're feeling, accept what you're feeling, not try to distract yourself from it, not try to push it away, not try to rationalize it away, rationalizing the thing that triggered that emotion so that you can maybe not feel that emotion anymore. Because eventually you're going to have to deal with what you're feeling. Either you're going to be forced to deal with it later, or you can choose to deal with it now. And personally, I prefer to choose to deal with it now rather than be forced in some way to deal with it later. So that's what I want to leave with you guys. The idea of acceptance. And again, this is not acceptance of inhumane treatment. This is not acceptance of things that are unacceptable. This is acceptance of how you are feeling, acceptance of your emotion, acceptance of the weight of those emotions, and even in good times. This is not just about accepting heavy or negative emotions. This could be about accepting joy, accepting happiness, because there are a lot of people who are so used to trauma that when joy or happiness comes into their lives, they can't even accept that. So this is about accepting all the entire range of emotions that you feel as a human being, and allowing yourself to sit with those feelings and ask questions of those feelings and learn something about yourself, and allow that lesson to be more of a propellant in your life. Acceptance. Acceptance. That's what I have been practicing. And I want you guys to try it. Try it and see how it works out for you. Or if you do it already, leave me a comment. Let me know how it makes you feel, or why you do it, or when you started doing it, or, whenever. I love a good conversation. So, feel free to chime in the comments below. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this opened a door for you, or maybe turned on a light for you in some way. The concept of acceptance is powerful. So, as always, the euphoria of fearlessness trumps the comfort of staying safe. I will talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.